Welcome into the Chasing Trails podcast, brought to you by St. John Trail Running and powered by Resilience Through Fitness. Join two middle-aged dads as they sit down and talk trail running, life, and everything in between. Now, here are your hosts, Jeff LeBlanc and Brandon Thompson. Hey everyone, we are back after a week off. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Chasing Trails podcast. You've got Jeff and Brandon here with you. We're glad to have you here after kind of a week off to get my kid graduated and through the whole prom, graduation gauntlet. My goodness, I feel like I'm just catching my breath now, Jeff.
I can only imagine. It looked like it was a busy week.
Oh, busy week. I mean, between taking pictures, it feels like you had to rehydrate, get the electrolytes in you, and just be able to go on to the next thing because it's still it isn't even over yet. We still have our graduation party that happens on Sunday. So that's when graduation parties are also the biggest scam ever. It's really just, we're going to invite you to come, bring some money, give some money to our person. You can leave after that. If you want to leave, that's fine. But it's all about those envelopes. You got to make that paper to pay for the school.
Are you cooking on your new big green egg for everyone?
Oh yeah. Well, I was sent you a picture of the big green egg, but I did some hamburgers. You asked me if there was steak on there. I said no, Salisbury steak maybe, but I was trying the hamburgers and I honestly, Jeff, I didn't like it. I don't know what I did wrong, but I left the lid down all the time, and it gave it this weird smoky flavor, which is what you want. But on a hamburger, it didn't taste quite right.
Yeah, you must have done something wrong.
Oh yeah, I also don't know what I'm doing. So I don't know if it's my charcoal or if I just was doing it wrong. But it didn't taste quite right to me. I think I need to leave the lid up the next time when I'm doing hamburgers.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've honestly never had hamburgers done on a smoker like that. I've only ever had steak or chicken wings or something like that. I've never really had a big roast or something. So I don't think I've ever done smoked hamburgers. I've had hamburgers off of a Traeger, but they're not on there as long, so maybe it wouldn't have as much of the smoke on them. So
I mean, you're basically treating it like a barbecue. It's just like a barbecue. So I just got it really hot and then seared them, and then that was it. But it didn't taste quite right. So I'm open to all sorts of suggestions. The learning curve is steep when it comes to big green egg stuff, but I've been doing all sorts of YouTubing around what to do. So hopefully I'll be able to get it good. But I got to practice on some cheap meat before I start throwing on some hefty steaks. I don't want to mess those up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean. Yeah, for sure. So you're not cooking on Sunday then? That's what you're saying.
No. Well, no, I think we're doing charcuterie board. Oh my goodness. I'm even just
And if you do charcuterie board right, it could be good. It's amazing.
I'm not doing it. So Natalie knows how to do it. But I'm just saying it's cheese and crackers and meat and fruit. So it's going to be pretty healthy. It's not going to be necessarily what I would really want all the time.
We as a family, we'll do a family charcuterie board with Heidi's sisters and stuff, and we'll the stuff that shows up for this thing it's spectacular. It's so good. Yeah, it makes me want one. I should suggest that for our vacation coming up.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the one thing you're looking on a charcuterie board to get? What is the one thing that you would like to have?
Well, there's no one thing. It's all the things. There's got to be some jellies. You got to have some sauces. You got to have different, 5 or 6 different kinds of cheese. Smoked cheddar is amazing.
Smoked cheddar is amazing.
Smoked cheddar's good. And then, you got to have some of the softer cheeses. As you could tell, I enjoyed charcuterie board a lot more before I found out that was what was making me sick.
Right.
and then, of course, you got to have your plethora of meats. You got to have the salami and the pepperoni and the ham, and then your typical. I don't know if they're Italian. Pastrami and the prosciutto, and then usually some nuts, so some salted pistachios with some almonds and stuff. You can really go all out with a charcuterie board if you really want to, and then of course your fresh fruit and grapes, and
man. It's
It's really quite. It gets quite costly when you
no kidding.
do it. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like the cheeses, is like you said, smoked applewood cheddar is like one of my favorites, and Gouda. Like those are the two that I'm always looking for.
You'll be able to do those in your Big Green Egg. You just, instead of doing charcoal, you'll get your charcoal really hot, and then you'll have to just buy some wood chips from somewhere, dump them in on the hot charcoals, and then it will smoke it with like applewood. And you'll just be able to buy a block of cheddar and smoke your own cheddar. Yeah.
Well, I even have apple trees in my backyard, so I can just take a branch off that and use it up for chips. Oh, yeah, great. That'd be fantastic.
I think it has to be processed and dried in a certain way, but maybe not. Maybe you can just chuck a tree in there, Brandon.
Yeah, man. It'll be
maybe
fine.
I understand why your burgers tasted funny now.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not exactly a chef. I'm more like Chef Boyardee than anything else.
There you go.
But anyway,
well, we haven't got a Blackstone yet. That's all the rage now. So
yeah, that seems to be the new thing. Anyway, so you mentioned vacation. You're getting ready to go on vacation. I'm on vacation right now, and so we're going to try and navigate all these recordings and the episodes while we're on vacation. But where are you headed to?
We're headed to PEI next week. Actually, we come down on Saturday to run the East Coast Beast Coast, and then Saturday afternoon we check into our cottage at PEI. I don't know, at 4 o'clock or something like that. So we won't stick around too long at the East Coast Beast Coast, but we'll be around for a bit, and then right off to PEI for vacation for a week, or Saturday to Saturday, and first time that we've been there during Canada Day with the kids. So we're looking forward to taking in some Canada Day festivities. I think we're going to Summerside for Canada Day because Blue Rodeo's playing. So I think
nice.
We have some other friends up there. I think Mike and Matt's families will be there. Obviously, Winston and Andrew Sabian, or Winston McEacher and Andrew Sabian live there. So good, there'll be a good crew of old college folks and their family on the island for Canada Day. So it should be a good time. Yeah.
And for those of you who might have caught that name, that is the Mattress Mike.
That's right.
Sleep Country
Mike.
fame. That's right.
Yeah,
so that's he's an ongoing friend of the show and big Lupin enthusiast.
A big Lupin enthusiast. And I called him last week because my baby currently, of course we have another one on the way, is moving into a big girl bed. And so who else would I call other than Mattress Mike when I need a mattress and a box spring? So that gets delivered tomorrow. It was the easiest, and just he's just such a great mattress guy. It's always good to have a guy, like you have a car guy, you have a doctor and a dentist, and you should have a mattress guy. It's important to sleep well. So
that's right.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mattress Mike, and we can't highly recommend him enough.
That's right.
Anyway, today's episode, we've got Bethany MacFarlane coming on the show today, and I mean this lady is amazing. I mean, Jeff, every time we've seen her run, she's been on the podium. That's like, I don't think we've had a conversation with her until today. But every time I've seen her, she's been on the podium, and she's a total, like, complete runner. She is just an amazing athlete. And so
I saw her blow by me at Looney Loops.
Yeah, that's right. Times. I mean, that's really where I see her. Like, I mean, we saw her at W4. She had been flying through it when you and I were doing that, and at Looney Loops and all those other ones. So it's really exciting to be able to have her on the show today. And so she's going to tell us, she's got some wild stories, and she's done some pretty wild things.
We might have to have a Bethany episode too, so she could tell us more stories.
That's right. Yeah.
not to root anything, but
no spoilers.
I think she has some pretty fun stories. Yeah. Absolutely.
It definitely felt like we were only scratching the surface. I felt like there's lots to get into there. So without anything else to talk about, we're going to jump right to our conversation with her. And so here's our conversation with Bethany MacFarlane. Welcome in, Bethany, to the Chasing Trails Studios. Thanks so much for joining us. We're thrilled to have you with us today, and we can't wait to hear all the good stuff you got to share with us. So we really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so
Bethany,
excited.
I think we first saw each other in most of our trail races that we've done together. You've just podiumed in all of them. I think we always see you at the end on the podiums, winning, and that's how we first got to know you. I think even the W4, like the Woollistic Wamping, was the first one that we saw you, and you won in that one in 2024, right? Pretty sure you
I
won that.
came second. I fell, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if his first or last name is Mason. He just, in my opinion, came out of the woods and cleaned everybody and then left. Like I've never. He's just like an enigma. He's back this year though, but I came second. I fell in the last lap. I mean, he was gonna beat me, but yeah, it made it look super. I had blood going down my knee. I made sure people saw it so that when
Nice.
I came in,
Yeah, yeah.
walking out in second, yeah. But I did lose that one. It was not. I'm
But
not mad
still
about it
very
though. But
impressive.
actually.
Very-
Actually, I was gonna bring it up, but I have something, not that I've been thinking about it or anything, but I think there was, yes, okay, Looney, I think was the first time I honestly, again, horrible with faces, horrible with names. I think you guys were out there. I have no idea who
yep.
anybody is. I'm learning. I think I have most of the Fredericton folk down pat, but I think at approximately minute 39:56 of the Looney recap episode, I just want to clarify I got 24 laps and not 23. And and so did Evan. And so did Evan. I think there was some misinformation at the campfire that night. I mean,
All
lots of stuff
right.
was happening. There's a DJ, but just let the record show. Not that I was been thinking about it or anything.
Yeah. Who's counting? Who's counting?
No.
Right.
That was my fault, 100%. I told that story, so I apologize.
I wasn't gonna call you out, but
Right.
okay.
Right.
I'll,
Who'd have
I'll
thought
admit
the
that.
banker would be bad with numbers? But that's kind of how it worked on that one.
Hey, that's what computers are for, buddy.
Right. That's right. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Well, Bethany, as we like to do with someone who comes on the show, we'd love just to hear your running story. Like, how did you get into running? What is it that you love about it? And how did you just kind of get into it?
Yeah. So it's definitely not a linear progression. And I'll say it's kind of like, when you call an animal or a pet a name that's a wild derivative from what you originally named it. For me,
Yeah.
like finding trail running is essentially that. Like we don't know how we got here, but it kind of just feels right. But yeah, so I grew up on the Monexakeg and the Monexakeg River, playing in the woods, running on the trails, not so much like single track, just rail trail, whatever. Um, Doing a lot of team sports, basketball mainly, played that pretty competitively. Didn't come from a camping family though. I would say we were like day trippers.
Okay.
Very
Yeah.
much like to go back to our own bed and running water. It's kind of my Achilles heel in these overnight races. I'm coming to find out, but anyway. And looking back now, like in basketball, my favorite part about basketball was beating people down the court and running lines. So probably should have been my first kind of sign. But running wasn't a thing. Like growing up, went to Woodstock High. There wasn't running, like it didn't exist. It was just something that you did to condition for your other sports.
Right.
And funny enough, I remember we had to either play soccer or cross country in order to even try out for basketball because I think is it Brandon? You spent some time in Heartland, so you
Yeah.
kind
Yeah. For
of
sure. Yeah.
understand. Okay, you understand kind of the Carleton County basketball
Yeah, man.
thing.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
hmm Pretty intense. So I did that. I think I did both soccer and cross country, but I ended up starting or on the start line with Genevieve Lalonde at my first and only race cross country experience, which was provincials. Um, and it was my first and only for like the next decade. Like I was one and done. And if you don't know who John B. Lalonde is, it's a fun Google search. She's an Olympian, so
Wow.
that was a good life lesson, we'll say. And it was kind of the first time I realized that people did running as a sport by itself. Um, and also in high school, I did hit a stretch where I couldn't do any sports my senior year. I was having a lot of mental health struggles. So I quickly learned that when something is taken away, you figure out that just how much it means to you.
Mm.
And I also learned I really needed a physical outlet, and I do a lot better with structure and working towards something. Doesn't You're gonna learn it doesn't matter what it is, just something. So yeah, after school, I was kind of in that weird transition phase where wasn't really into any team sports, but I still needed that physical outlet and that structure. So I signed up for a marathon. Why not? 2016. I ran with the running room to train for it. First time experiencing group runs, all of that stuff. Enjoyed it. And I think it's a common through line with a lot of the kind of road to trail, journey to trail, pun intended, whatever. Um, Origin stories is everybody has this horrific road race, either a half marathon or a marathon, where it just is like carnage, carnage. And that's exactly how it was with me. Like, oh my gosh, it was the worst slash best experience ever. I had the flu for it. I bombed at 2K. My gels burst all over me. I had goo in places I don't even know how it got. Everything was sticky. Watch reset and like cherry on top, I had Kleenex in my both nostrils for the finish line because I had gotten a nosebleed with 8K to go. So yeah, it was great. Um, yeah,
That race
so
photo would have been awesome. Like just seeing like the Kleenex coming out
it's
and goo all over you.
it's bad. Like it was so bad. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it's pretty common, like stuff like that, like the nutrition. I figured out that I needed goos, but like I didn't really know what I was doing, and it clearly showed. Um, but kind of big lesson learned is I dragged myself to the finish line. I pulled 40 kilometers out of myself. I still don't know how I did that. Hardest thing I've ever done to date. And that
Mm.
experience, I pull on that often, and I'll throw myself into kind of anything because well, it can't get much worse than that in 2016. So yeah, and that experience also taught me that these big scary goals, these big scary whatever that other people are doing, like when you break them down and go with a group, they're more attainable than you think. So that was my first lesson learned in that. Um, really like the consistency and the structure of marathon training. And it was a big kind of turning point in rebuilding that relationship with myself and my body, and just, yeah, working with my body to do something instead of
Hmm.
against it all the time. And I was really enjoying like that mental and physical check-in that running gave me. Um, was a little bit traumatized from the road, not gonna lie, and I avoided it like the plague. I don't know who I went with, uh, but I went to a Fredericton group trail run in my road shoes. Didn't really understand it. Saw a few familiar faces from like the running room, but I wouldn't say I got into trail running then. I just like was exposed to trail running because again, still in road shoes, no idea if these people race, if this is just like a social hour, like what, very much didn't understand it, didn't know of anything else going on like it in the province or elsewhere. Um,
Mm.
and but I did know that 1 kilometer on the trail felt like 1 mile on the road. I still stand
Right.
by that.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
and it really required full focus because if not, you're gonna eat it. And
Yeah.
I liked that. Um, so I kind of was basing more out of the Woodstock area after in 2016 and beyond, and still tried to keep up the base. And I don't know, small town problems, but I really don't like running on the road in Woodstock because I mean I have been followed a few times, and I don't like it when people message me, "Oh, I saw you out, whatever." I'm like, "What was I doing with my face? Like, what? Oh, I can only imagine." Like, I
Yeah,
am,
right.
like, people know who I. Not, I'm not saying I'm a huge, but like, people know me. They know my parents. Like, oh, I'm like at work. So and so said they saw you. I was like, "Oh, perfect, awesome." So I kind of hide out in the woods when I'm in Woodstock, and I'll run on the rail trail or like four-wheeler trails. I mean, those are a dime a dozen up there, so it's
Yep.
perfect. Um, and but those are flat. So I my favorite part of marathon training was the hill workouts. So by some equation in my mind, I figured out, well, I'm just gonna go do Katahdin all the time because it's natural progression, right?
Yep.
So that's what I did. I bought a season's pass and I went by myself very often. It's a fun Instagram deep dive. You can see some of the posts. People didn't believe that I was going that often because it's the same like Baxter State Park sign like that I would take. So I started taking up kind of passive aggressive, but here we are. I started taking up things that didn't make sense, and it got all the way to like ridiculous. Like I took an ironing board up and an iron, and like it's like I'm still gonna get like I want to get some sort of a boat up there someday. It's gonna happen. But anyway, so Katahdin was kind of like the birthplace of Bethany's trail, kind of full trail running experience. Still doing it in road shoes, Nike Freeze.
All
It
right.
actually took a route from going up through the Nike Free into my foot to buy my first pair of trail shoes, speed crosses. Still love them, still use them
All right.
often. But yeah, and then I kind of figured out that the Appalachian Trail was on or sorry, Katahdin was part of the Appalachian Trail. I had no idea what the Appalachian Trail was. And I kind of learned the story about Scott Jurek getting fined for popping champagne at the top and all of that stuff. And then I went down a big Wikipedia wormhole or YouTube wormhole and really got inspired by Courtney DeWalter's Moab 240 mic
Yeah.
drop
Yeah.
moment. Uh, so yeah, and that would be kind of that's how I got into this. That's how
Wow.
yeah. Mhm.
Wow. So, how many times would you say you've gone up Katahdin?
I get asked that. I don't know. Over 30. Uh,
Wow.
but actually, I have another really quick tidbit because I know John Kelly is en route to kind of break Tara Dower's record like right now. I'm trying to see if I can go down and see that finish because that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I had some kind of a Strava something on Katahdin. I don't know if it's local legend or what it was. But I remember I was walking around up here and I got a notification that some record got taken of mine. And I was like, what is going on? Who is this? And I came across Candy Mama. I was like, who is this
Candy
Candy
mama.
Mama? It was Tara Dower.
Oh
She went
man.
on to
Wow.
set. So I was like, oh, you can have it. You'll like, I am not saying I'm in the same class as Tara Dower, but I was just like, you know what, that's pretty cool I
Yeah.
don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
still
For sure.
don't know what that record was, but I've been trying to find it. Anyway.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mhm.
Like I know the Woodstock area well. Like you said, I grew up or didn't grow up. I spent some time there, 10 years almost, down the
Mhm.
road in Heartland, and just know there's like the trail running scene was basically non-existent when I was there, and that would have
Mhm.
been like mid 2000s, and but now I've just been so thrilled to see that you've kind of started up this Woodstock area trail running group. So tell me what that was like and how's it going there. And I mean, the trail single track systems are kind of few and far between, at least my from my remembering. But is it something that you're able to get a lot of trail in, or is it a lot of ATV trails? What's that look like?
So I love it, and my dog Ruthie has just joined me, and as I said, she's the mascot she's the most enthusiastic member. So it's honestly my Tuesdays are my favorite night of the week. Um, the trails per se, there's the Medextig River Medexna Nature Preserve
Hmm.
that are gorgeous, very well maintained, very easy to follow, a lot of loops, very beginner friendly, but also can get aggressive if you want them to. And I have a hard time, like, yes, it says like Woodstock Wood Trotters, but I mean, we've got members traveling all the way from Florenceville, a guy from Heartland that comes up. We kind of pull from all over Carleton County.
Mm.
And we do take little, we call them field trips to the Becca in
Yeah.
Heartland. We
Yeah.
run that sometimes, and we were supposed to go to Hayes Falls, so in Medactic, last Tuesday. So we canceled that because there was some thunder and lightning in the forecast. But yeah, the trails are. Oh, where is it? The trails are very good. They'd be a really good course for like last man standing looping stuff.
Hmm.
And we're trying to get something off the ground, but it's not lost on me in terms of like a race or even just like hosting people in to check it out. Um, but it's not lost on me how much work that is. And like hats off to Mark and Amber, even like the Yosa, like it's a lot of work, it's a lot of manpower, it's a lot of volunteers. So
Mm.
we'll see what happens, but it's awesome down there. And you're right along with the Keg, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And how many years has that been going?
yeah, so kind of the origin story. Started in Ruthie's shaking the camera here. Sorry. I'm just gonna knock it over if I don't keep petting her. It started August 2023, and it really started because I got into triathlon, weirdly enough. Um, there we go. And I I started biking to hang out with my dad. uh he was pretty heavy into cycling, and I wanted to continue my base, but really was missing that community aspect of like marathon training while running in kind of rail trail and doing my Katahdin stint when I was based out of Woodstock. So I started biking with him. This was not at all like a father daughter, like a bonding, go get ice cream experience. Like he trash talks me to tears, and
Nice.
he is so intense. I've yet to beat him on the bike. Like that man's a machine.
Wow.
It's very frustrating because he knows exactly. So like we would bike together, but we wouldn't bike together because we couldn't stand one another on the bike. We're so competitive. So he would go out and say, I'm going biking, and I would kind of go in a similar route. So we would bike around each other. Anyway, two of the three disciplines for a try. And like many of us say, oh, might as well just try to survive the swim and call it a day.
Right.
Got into triathlons. Ended up doing two 70.3s. Um, and I liked it, but I was doing all the training by myself, and I had gotten my dog Ruthie at the time, and I didn't love how much time I was spending training without her. Um, but I also really wanted to try to go after a full Ironman. And I knew if I want to do that, it's a lot of time training. And that would have been a lot of time training alone. So, and I had to build my base with running. So I figured I might as well just put some feelers out and create this group. I mean, I had a little how hard can it be, boys do it moment, and just went for it. And just went for it, and like was pleasantly surprised. Like it's such a I say cute group, but not to belittle it. Like it's we have some really really experienced runners. Like I think two others have been to Boston, and there's just yeah, there's a lot of experience there, but it's also kind of tricky because with so much experience, it's really difficult to kind of have people like not be intro friendly, but blend everybody's
Yeah.
experience so everybody has a good experience when with like fewer people out there. Like
Yeah.
oh my gosh, the numbers that the St. John group gets, it would be absolutely amazing. And I have full intentions of trying to build the intro group and get more women out specifically.
Hmm.
And hopefully one day get a women's only group going, because I do feel that's a massive barrier to entry for this
Mm,
sport, just like going out running with guys, and being intimidated by that. But
mm,
we'll see what happens. It's growing, and
awesome.
yeah, I love that group. It's really fun.
Yeah, fantastic. Um, so one of the things that I guess I maybe been following through Instagram or something was your preparations for the Boston Marathon, and you ran. I mean, you ran a great Boston Marathon. I mean, what was it? 3 hours and 20 minutes, something around there.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it was, but it was, I mean, somehow I set a PB, but it was a complete implosion. Like,
Really?
oh yeah. And
Tell us all
actually,
about it. Tell us about it.
okay, here we go. Here's the war stories. The journey to Boston actually involves a lot of trails. So I'm going to back up a bit and say that after I say I failed at W4 in 2023, super hot year,
Yeah.
and my dog is okay, super hot year, and I didn't heat train. Anyway, we used Ruthie. Um, I I started to build and do trail racing, build the base, and again, trying to go after that full Ironman. So I said, well, I might as well try to qualify for Boston if I'm going to be doing if I'm going to be training for a full marathon, why not? So that's what we did. Training was going well. I was gearing up to BQ at Fredericton, nice flat course, local. Um, had to drop from that because I blew all my iron stores in a pretty impressive time frame. I do have a really hard time with iron, like legit. I think I dropped like over 160 points for my ferritin in like 4.5 months, which like we were checking for internal bleeds, like we don't know what's happening.
Wow.
So I had to get some more infusions, iron infusions. I also the 70.3s. I did iron deficient Ironmans
Right.
because I had
Yeah.
to, yeah, they didn't, and like, for the record, like I wasn't doing them well. Like we were just getting to the finish line. Like there was no, like it was not skillful, we'll say that. But anyway, so trying to figure out this iron piece, and I learned that my body likes the trail more than road, because there's this thing called foot strike anemia, that we figured, my coach and I at the time, if you spend a lot of time pounding on the pavement, it's harder surface and you're breaking up those red blood cells. So I did a lot of that training on the trail, and we used the W4 2024 as kind of a litmus test to see where I
Gotcha.
was at. Um, that went decently. So I did a 6 week build with long runs, with a lot of trail. 6 week build, sent it at Rimouski to qualify the day before the deadline to qualify.
Nice.
Yep,
Cut her close.
snuck in, and then continued to do that hybrid approach, road and trail. Actually, 6 days after Rimouski was Looney.
Yeah.
So that was, anyway, yeah. That's where I was gonna just remind, it was 24 loops actually, not 23. No big deal. But
After a
yeah,
marathon. 24
yeah,
after a
six
marathon.
days. Yeah, and I bounced back surprisingly well from that one. I very surprised. I still don't know what happened at Looney, but we'll leave it at that. But yeah, so spent the fall building, and winter building towards Boston. Again, doing a lot of trail stuff, a lot of snowshoeing as well. uh, Monthly iron checks to make sure we weren't just tanking in that aspect, and trying to just get as much iron in my body as possible. And like honestly, typically, like for these or blah, for these marathon builds, it's just a game to see if I can keep iron in my body for
Wow.
the duration of like the build. So like a 4 month window. Um, but yeah, the actual event, like Boston experience, it was wild. I say it's like Coachella for runners, like every run influencer, like it
Nice.
was crazy. It was like but it was a very meta experience, because you see these run influencers that you see on online, but then they're experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing. So then it's like it's a weird, it was weird. It was a new phenomenon for sure. And it was actually really cool to get all the support from the trail people back home. Like they were also watching. So I thought that was pretty cool because I mean,
Mm,
road trail,
right.
but it was, yeah, I got a lot of love and support from the trail people back home. Um, but yeah, race day, huh. I thought I had fueling down because I mean, trail will teach you that W4 and Looney, like that was a big learning curve. Like I tried a lot of stuff out. I love to test stuff out on the trail. Um, the last minute, like the weekend before I changed my hotel, which those are wildly expensive, by the way. Like it was Easter weekend, President's Day or whatever, and Marathon Monday, all like all in one weekend. So it was crazy. But I didn't realize until again, like 2 weeks beforehand, that there was a bus ride from downtown Boston to Hopkinton, and I get horrifically car sick. So I
Oh no.
found, just by luck, I was like, we're not doing that because that's going to go very, very bad. I found something pretty close, and honestly, it worked out great. So avoided that. But I got to they kind of send you into this field for quite some time. I got there early. Um, and I sat there for like 2.5 hours, and I have really bad Raynaud's as well. Raynaud's, I don't know how to pronounce it. So I was trying to keep my hands and my feet warm. So I was sitting out more in the sun, and I was sipping on Gatorade, and I had my nutrition, and I was like, I got this. Like we had a great build. Like let's go set a big PB. Because I was really shooting for like more around the 310, 308 area. Um, because again, my only other marathon, aside from the 2016 team one that shall not be named, I will revisit that, was the 6 week Rimouski, just like send it and get in. So yeah, we start off, and I had taken my gel, and I just start feeling my mouth. I'm like, why is my mouth so pasty right now? And I had peed so many times in those porta potties, and oh my gosh, it is the land of porta potties. You've seen nothing like
Right.
it for Boston. It's like a sea of porta potties. They do that part well. Um, was super dehydrated at the start, and it just went downhill, literally, because it's a downhill course at the start. And like literally phase everything just tanked. I have these kind of neuromas on my feet as well that sometimes flare up, and Boston just was the lucky day. So I actually took my shoes off twice. I cramped like I've never cramped before in any race, in any trail, any time of my life. Got walked in on the porta potty. I threw Gatorade in my eye twice. I was running like a pirate. It was just like the whole thing was just, it felt like shuffling home at the end of like the back half marathon of a 70.3. I was waiting for my legs to come back to me, and they just never did. So yeah, I somehow uh, oh, I got horrifically sunburnt as well. And I think I had like a little bit of heat stroke because it was the first time. I mean, it's what, April 21st, 22nd, somewhere around there. And I've been training in the winter.
Right.
Was not hot temperatures at all before that time. And it was like it felt really hot, and there's no shade on that course. Oh, my watch reset. That's the other thing. I had my splits reading out to me, and I had one headphone in, and I used the Pace Pro Garmin feature.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I had it dialed like every kilometer. It was reading above, below, like the whole thing was going great. And then all of a sudden, it just decided to reset itself, and I had no idea where I was in the course. I was asking people if this was Heartbreak Hill. I had no idea if I had gone past the Newton Hills, if I was in the Newton Hills, because it was kind of like rolly. Anyway, we got to the finish line. I somehow PB'd by like, yeah, you said like 320 something. I had no idea. I don't even think my watch clocked it as a full marathon, because like on Strava or anything, because it reset and it was just shy of the,
Wow.
anyway. it was an experience. Unsure what to do. Unsure, like mm, I qualified to go next year if I want to. I mean, granted, the cutoffs of the cutoffs aren't
Right.
horrific, but I should be okay if I want to go back, but I don't know if I want to or not. And honestly, I had a bit of an identity crisis after Boston because when stuff kind of goes bad, I get really fired up to do it again. And that's all I want to focus on is just like I want redemption.
Mm.
Tricky part about marathons is you can't just go bang those out like two, three, four, five a year, and do them well. So I actually, it was, I was on the fence with, because I'm in training for QMT, and it wasn't until W4 this year and talking with Kelsey Hogan and Megan Duffy, and they're going through similar kind of, not to put words in their mouth, but they mentioned that they go back and forth and they have this kind of like, am I a roadie? Do I do like, can we do both? So had some great discussions and encouragement.
Mhm.
And a lot of help training wise from those ladies. So yeah, decided to go for it. But
Awesome.
we're cut.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned QMT, so that's coming right up as we record. It's right around the corner. So tell us about how you're getting ready for. You're doing the 135, if I'm correct.
Apparently, yeah. We'll
Apparently,
see.
that's
We'll
what you
see what
signed up
happens.
for. That's right. That's what you signed up for. So
Yeah.
tell us how you're getting ready for QMT and how are you feeling getting ready to go into it.
I feel great. I feel better than I have. I feel better than I did on road and trail, like before Boston. Um, I don't know if it's all of like the vert or whatever. When I go and step out on the road, I just have, yeah, I can see how it's translating. I'm working with Megan Duffy
Mm-hmm.
to get me to the finish line. Hopefully, she's coaching me. I reach out to her. I was again in that kind of identity crisis, like what do I do? How do I do this? Can I do both? Um, and she, no big deal. Her 5K road time is, she just dropped that in the middle of a 200 miler build. Outrageous. Like, oh, you should, it's in the 17s. It's in the 17s. So like, holy, anyway, legends. But yeah, it's interesting. I'll say I'm loving just frolicking and frolicking about on the mountain at a crab and just kind of following wherever my feet take me that day. Again, I think my body likes trail better than road just from that like iron issue. I honestly, the biggest hurdle has been the gear, and because maybe it's a bad habit that I've developed from spending so much time on the road, but I hate gear. I hate poles. I hate packs. I hate water bottles. I hate stuff on me. That's why I love a good loop course. Like W4
Right.
and Looney, sign me up all day, every day. I love that. And I'm very bad at going off course. Like last year at Chiggy, I just did an extra 10K,
Yep.
just for
Yep.
fun. Literally thought I was gonna die out there. Anyway, so yeah, it's been interesting. I was honestly quite concerned about how long it took my body to bounce back after Boston. It was a good 4+ weeks to feel like normal after that because I think my body just went through it on that course, just
Mm.
with the cramping and the dehydration and whatnot. So I used the Cabotrail Relay and W4 as again kind of like that litmus test. Okay, like how are we doing? Little check. Can we do this? Can we pull this off? And I had a discussion with Kelsey, who kind of put a lot of encouragement in me and has helped me so much. Like she's walked through the course with me. She was running last weekend. She was running out here, and I woke up from a nap, or out at Crab. I woke up from a nap, and she was just frolicking up the hill. And I called her over. She ended up giving me something out of her pack, like literally, like shirt off her back for my kit because she's anyway. I've kind of gone through it. I don't know all this gear.
Mm.
So I've acquired the poles and the rain jackets and whatnot. We'll see if I figure out how to use it all, any of it, if need be. But I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be a big scavenger hunt. Like I know it's gonna hurt. I know there's a lot of vert. It's like something like 6,000 meters, and 135K. I've got poles. I've been practicing downhill running, Boston. Uh, and it's just gonna be a big scavenger hunt to see what comes up. And yeah, it's gonna be an experience, we'll just say.
Oh, I know you're going to do great. And just so you
Uh,
know, like a lot of people don't use poles. I mean, some people just abandon poles altogether and go without.
yeah, I've tried. I've might still I don't know if they'll ever come out of my pack.
Right.
Um, but I did chafe really bad at Looney because I was putting my hands on my quads and pushing myself to power hike, like pushing off my legs. And I had like my skin on my thighs from my hands just like either I gotta get pants or gloves or something. So I think that's where the poles come in, where you can
Gotcha.
kind of, but
Yep.
anyway, we'll see. But I'll test that out. Maybe not on 135K weeks. What,
That's
six
right.
thousand meters of vert? I'll probably end up just like hanging off the pole, but we'll see. We'll
We'll
see.
see. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Bethany. Before we wrap up, one of the things that I found out about you is that you're also a yoga teacher,
Mhm.
and one of the things that Jeff and I are always trying to figure out is stretching, getting a little bit more limber. Is there anything you'd recommend, like some stretching or yoga poses? I don't even know if that's the right question to ask, but that runners should have as a part of their training? Are there things that you can recommend that will help with that in the yoga world? Because I always hear all these guys going to hot yoga and they're going to different yoga on
Mhm.
YouTube and all that sort of thing. What's your thoughts on that?
Hot yoga is great form of heat training, heat stimulus. Recommend that. But yoga and the benefits that I've had translating to triathlon and all of the runnings, I'll say road and trail. It's more about understanding how to move your body and tuning into the feedback from your body.
Mm,
So when I'm running, like I'll do scans. I'm constantly getting feedback, becoming hyper aware of what's happening, how I'm landing on my feet. Is it the most efficient way? I'm a flailer. Yeah, I've talked with my hands. I flail my upper body, and I know if I do that a lot, that's going to translate to some overuse of my back, and it's probably gonna not feel great. Like anyway, just movement patterns, scanning your body and posture,
mm,
understanding like how to take care of your body in the moment. Again, with those scans, if something's coming up, and you can kind of mitigate it before it becomes a bigger issue or a bigger niggle, if you will. But I mean, aside from posture, engagement, like leaning forward on the climbs to engage your glutes, or if your glutes are kind of tanked, how you can change your form and utilize more like your quad, like all of that stuff. I do have some little life hacks on the fly that I've had to use. So there are a few things that you can do kind of like on the side of the road of a hilly course. I've had to do it often. Um, I call it like, well, I will preface in saying that I teach predominantly yin now. I'm certified in like your hatha, kind of like your normal floor-based, yoga. I also am certified in aerial yoga. I hang upside down quite often. And I teach yin with both my father and my mother attend my classes. And I swear to God, I need to set up some kind of a podcast with that because it is wild.
yeah.
It's wild in there. But I, I have a few, in terms of like preventative measures for people who don't really, or just like getting used to yoga. You can even YouTube this. Wall yin is really good. It's a really good way to get into hip openers that doesn't put your back at risk, which
Mm.
is kind of like injuries from yoga are more common than you think. People kind of DIYing it and not doing it in a safe manner. You can really screw yourself up, like all things. But I would say wall yin is awesome and safe. It's kind of like putting the little bumpers on the bowling lanes for you. You're
Yeah.
still gonna get a strikeout, but you're just not gonna lose your ball or whatever. So
Right.
anyway, and also there's one, I mean, I can kind of talk you through it, but if you're just, um, I know my hamstring, I had a little bit of a left hamstring, which was really getting to my left knee issue last year around bootstrap time, uh, and a kind of a sciatica issue. But if you just stand nice and tall, and then you can cross one leg over the other. So we say like your right leg over the other, and then lean forward like you're trying to touch your toes. Lift your tailbone. And if you aren't feeling anything there in your kind of your, it's going to be in your left leg, left hip, left piriformis area, you can start to bring both hands over to the right side. Um, and yeah, I've had to pull that one out of my pocket a few times.
Mm.
But yeah, and
Okay.
so I'll say that one. And I can send photos after or something. I don't know.
Right.
That was a lot.
That's right.
But
The only yoga I've ever done is yin yoga. And
that's good.
so it was so fantastic. Like it was like so good for my hips. Like
Yep.
I couldn't realize, like I didn't realize how much how tight they were until you had to just sit there and lay with your legs spread open. And I was just like, I can't get my knees to touch the ground. Like I need those little
Yep.
bricks to put underneath of them and stuff. It was crazy.
And wide leg, you can do that on the wall. So you just land with your feet up the wall and then you just let your legs fall, kind of slide down the wall, literally call it wide legs on the wall. I hang out in that pose a lot at home.
Yeah.
So it's a good one. It's not gonna do you any wrong. Like it's not gonna,
Right.
well, done in a safe manner, it's only gonna serve you well. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And anytime when you like ours always started off with us just like lying on our backs and closing our eyes and breathing deep. And I was like,
Mhm.
man, I would have done this years ago. This is like having a nap. Like it's just like relaxing and you just chill
Yep.
out. It's fantastic.
Yeah. My dad falls asleep a lot when we do that. And I just let him. Like, you know what? It's easier for everybody if he's asleep. So and
Right.
then it's great. And it's very much like my class in Woodstock, it's very much actually it's predominantly guys.
Yeah.
And it's very much a no ego. Like if somebody has a question, you can just ask away. It's very kind of toned down. But it's kind of meeting them where they're at. And I mean, there was a guy there who could barely walk without pain, and now he's actually gotten into running. And I'm trying to coax him
Wow.
out to the trails. It's work in progress, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So
That's awesome. Bethany, thanks so much. We're cheering you on as you get ready to run QMT. We'll be hopefully getting updates and see how you're doing. We're so thrilled that you're able to do that. Jeff, you got a question?
I got just a couple things.
Yeah.
QMT, circling back, did you find yourself a pacer yet?
yes, so
Oh,
we've come
good.
full. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but
Right.
so yeah, it's actually a guy from the Woodstock group, Enrique. He did the 160 last year. We call him the man, the myth, the legend because he just pops up and throws down and then run like you never see it. Like he's wild. But he hasn't been running I think for a few months. I think he had a bit of an injury, he was recovering. Um, but apparently he's back. We had a test run last weekend and he did great. So I mean,
Good.
it's just he's a great vibe. He's just a ball of energy and a ball of light. So that's what you need at
Yeah.
100K. And I think he comes on
Absolutely.
board at like I think he comes aboard at around kilometer 100 or 102. And I just told him this last weekend, but right when he starts, we go up for 633 meters in 3.6 kilometers.
Wow.
So don't tell him. He doesn't know. He's coming. He doesn't
Right.
know it. So it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
That's good. Good. It'll be good. We were talking on Instagram, and you mentioned you hadn't found a pacer yet, and so I thought I'm glad you did, because I can't imagine being out there for 135 kilometers with no pacer. But yeah, glad you did. But wanted to give you a chance to see if we could put a poke out there for you if we could.
Pitch it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Katahdin, that's a heck of a way to jump into trail running. Which trails did you take going up Katahdin, generally speaking?
I am a hunt trail diehard. I am a big creature of habit. Again, the loops, the same, like it, yeah. I love the hunt trail. I don't know why. I just do. I don't really like Able. It was only open, like after a few years I was doing it, and I use it as a bailout if there's some weather systems up there, because the hunt trail can be a little bit sketchy in rain, because it's
Sure.
quite steep, and the scramble
Mm-hmm.
is it's quite aggressive. I've definitely had to use it as a bailout. I've gotten hypothermic up there a few times. I've had to run
Mm-hmm.
down a ball. But yeah, I hang out on that side of the mountain, mostly in the Katahdin Stream parking lot, and it
Okay.
feels homey. Hmm.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. We only hiked it the once. We went up Heel on Taylor and went down A-Ball and then
Okay.
hitchhiked back to our car. But it was because we went early and there was no. Well, some people
Hmm.
hitchhiked back to their car. I didn't. I was in rough shape by the end of that hike. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it was
no
a tough go.
joke.
It's no joke. Yeah, but it was
It's
funny because most of the trail was closed because we went the first weekend and they still had snow and stuff. And so those were the
Yep,
only two trails open. So we didn't really have a choice. And
yep.
when we went across, it was a beautiful day and sunny. And then we went across the Knife's Edge, and all of a sudden, freezing rain just blew in out of nowhere. And so we're going across the Knife's Edge in freezing rain, and we're just like, this is ridiculous.
Yep.
But that's why I asked, because it was pretty silly in some cases, or like in our one experience, that it was 14 degrees or 15 degrees down at the bottom of the hill. We were finding it quite warm, and it got warmer as we went on through the day. And then all of a sudden, there was freezing rain in no time. So
I
yeah,
have been hypothermic up there, and then when I get down to like the McDonald's in the town of Millinocket, it's like 25 degrees and sunny. So
yeah, that's
yeah,
exactly was our experience. Absolutely.
yeah. So bit
Cool.
of a
Well,
crapshoot.
that's a cool. I haven't been up it 30 times, but I can say at least I made it to the top once. So there you go.
It's something. It still counts.
Beautiful hike. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
hike too. Yeah.
Right. You didn't bring an ironing board either with you, Jeff. So that's
No, I brought a Red Bull and a beer. That was in my. This was before I started running at all, and so I had done the footpath and a couple other hikes, and we literally climbed up Katahdin, and most of us didn't have enough water, and we saved our Red Bull and our beer for the top because we were like, we might not make it down off here. So anyway, it was an interesting hike.
I bet. Anyways, Bethany, we know that you are much more qualified to be doing that run than Jeff was. So we're just so appreciative of you, and so thanks so much for being with us today. And good luck on your race.
Thank you. I will need it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff. I'm not sure where to begin with that conversation because there were so many things that I was just like, "This is amazing." I mean, just you can't even get your head around all the things that she's done, and she just casually drops them as we're having a conversation. I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
you carried an ironing board and an iron up Katahdin, like you've
Right.
gone up Katahdin, like you run up Katahdin, like that's amazing.
Yeah, it's funny. When we hiked Katahdin, I mentioned when we were chatting with her afterwards, and we actually got passed by some random dude running up the mountain. And I remember the five of us thinking, that's the most ridiculous thing ever. Why would anyone in their right mind try to run up this mountain? And again, that was before I'd even ever heard of trail running. So it was like completely, all five of us were like, this is the most ridiculous thing. But look at that guy go. And he was moving. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
believe how fast he was going up the hill. And we were moving at a much different pace. So, yeah, coming down the hill was what was hardest on me. My knees just gave out after like halfway down. They just didn't have anything left in them. It was like felt like it was bone on bone. No one had any poles. No one had anything to use, and I was just like, this is not going to end well. Anyway, I mean, I did make it down. Right. Someone else drove home. I drove there in my truck, and my friend Rudy. I was like, you're going to have to take the keys. Like, I won't make it. And I fell asleep before we got out of the park. They had to wake me up for pizza in Millinocket. Like, they were like, dude, wake up. Let's go inside for some pizza. Like, I was spent. So the thought of running up that mountain is ridiculous. But anyway, right. She's just a ball of energy. It's awesome to talk with her about. Awesome. Like, just seems to have, the energy to go for days. So good for her.
But just like her level of fitness is unreal. Just doing the Ironman thing and being able to do Boston in the condition that she went through. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are just some amazing trail runners in our area. And it's just so cool to hear. And I'll be interested to see how she handles, the terrain at QMT. Just sounds like she loves the vert, so she's going to get all that she wants.
I think so
when she goes through there.
Yeah, from what I've heard, that's the case. Absolutely. It did make me feel a little bit better to hear her say that it took her like 4 weeks to recover from Boston, because I feel like the recovery from Rockwood Park for me has been longer than I expected. And so, she's a much higher caliber runner than I am. So if it takes her 4 weeks to recover from Boston, then I guess maybe three and some for me to feel like I'm finally getting back to normal isn't so bad. But
that's right. So we'll be cheering her on at QMT coming up this weekend, and so it'll be a big deal. Lots of folks from our local trail running scene will be hitting the trails there as well, and so we look forward to that, and we're cheering them on, and we know that they'll do well. And so, anyways, folks, that's it for us today. And in the meantime, keep on chasing the trails. 1, 2.